The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
I say it's time we focus on what really matters. The games. Who's with me?
Hello and welcome to episode 42 of the PlayStation Experience podcast, the spicy brown mustard to PSVG Prime's hot dog and PSVG's premier PlayStation podcast. I am one of your hosts, Seth, and I'm alone this morning. Shout out to Justin. Just couldn't get together this week, and so this week I am just talking to myself. A one-person party, a fireside chat to steal an idea from maybe another podcast series. Anyway, before I get into some of the news of the week and what I've been playing, etc., wanted to shout out to our Patreon producers. Thank you to Coach Hulk, Edwin Callow, Devin Tyus, Kevin Austin, Chris M., Kyle Hyman, Bonesaw, Barry Cathcart, Paul Calicote, and that is it. I need to learn how better to read lists. So anyway, thank you, all of you, for your support. Please visit us on Patreon at patreon.com/PSVG. Okay, so here we are. It's the, as this episode drops, it's May 22nd, the week of May 20th. We are we're 1 week away from Memorial Day. I work in a school district. High school graduations next weekend. This coming weekend. The week after that is a big weekend for me personally, with some events, and the week after that is E3. So we are getting close to some big video game news time. But before we get into some cool things going on around here, around the PlayStation universe, wanted to touch base. I'm still playing the same three games I've been playing: MLB The Show, Sekiro, and Apex. So MLB The Show, still going through my normal thing. It's a great game. I find it to be, and maybe it's just the way I'm playing it this year, the most pick up and play MLB The Show game I've played in a long time. I really, really have enjoyed it. Sekiro. So it's the kind of game where you really want to be able to sit down and play for a long time. I get about 3 times a week. I play it for about 45 minutes each. So I kind of get in. I have an idea of what I want to do during that play session, and then hopefully I can accomplish it. But it's been a lot of fun. I beat. There's this one boss called the Shinobi Hunter in the Hirata Estates that comes at you with a spear and is pretty tough. And I was able to beat him after about 5 tries. I was really pumped about that. And then now I'm going and trying to beat this boss in kind of the main area, the Ashina Estates. Trying to beat this boss that comes after the guy with the glowing eyes, the chained ogre. So I'm kind of stuck there right now, but I'm confident I'll be able to get through it. Hopefully, sometime this week. And then Apex Legends last week won my first match with actually my first match that I've won when I've been Lifeline, and also the first match that I've won with a friend. So that was really cool and a fun moment. Now it was 2 of us playing with a random person, and the person we were playing with had 13 kills during the match. The other 2 of us had 1 combined kill. I got a kill in the last group that we were fighting. So we were definitely carried to that victory, but we survived, and we were part of each fight. We just weren't quite as successful as our friend there, our random friend. I want to run down the releases for this week. A couple of decent releases. So there's this one sounds interesting called Alternate Jake Hunter, Daedalus: The Awakening of Golden Jazz. A new chapter begins in the Detective Jinguji Saburo series. I apologize for my pronunciation of that. 1 month ago today, someone murdered Saburo's grandfather, Kyusuke, while he was living in New York. He soon discovers that his grandfather's last word was Daedalus. What does it mean? Why was my grandfather killed? Now, of course, Daedalus is Greek mythology. He was a skillful craftsman and artist and was seen as a symbol of wisdom, knowledge, and power. He's the father of Icarus. And so he sees his son Icarus fly too close to the sky and fall down. There's a really good song by Thrice about kind of all about Daedalus and Icarus and flying too close to the sun and so forth. So mostly because of that song, I'm actually pretty interested in this story, this game. American Fugitive, a modern take on classic sandbox action. Framed for your father's murder, you will need to do whatever it takes to unveil the real culprit. This has a really 80s vibe. Looks like a pretty interesting game. Scrolling down, Everybody's Golf VR comes out this week. I know a couple of the PSVG folk are interested in that one. I hope that it's great. Golf in VR seems like it goes perfect together. This game called Observation that was revealed during the first state of play is coming out this week, and it's the one where it takes place in outer space and you control the space station somehow, and you're trying to figure out what happened to the crew of the space station. There's a card game and card/roguelike game called Slay the Spire that's supposed to be pretty good. And then finally, Team Sonic Racing, which actually has gotten pretty good reviews. So if you're looking for a kind of an arcadey kart racer option on the PS4, that should be a pretty decent one. Anyway, so news, gonna kind of quick hit some news from this last week. The most interesting thing to me was there was an article, Microsoft and Sony make nice, establish partnership for gaming and cloud services. I don't know why I said comma there. Anyway, so this article is from GameSpot, but it was everywhere. So Microsoft and Sony revealed last week, that they have established a strategic partnership. The two companies plan on sharing technology and information going forward and build upon shared infrastructures for some of their future initiatives. Nowhere in the announcement are Xbox or PlayStation named, but its wording implies Microsoft and Sony's partnership will specifically focus on consumer entertainment platforms like gaming. Specifically, the agreement, a memorandum of understanding, says the two will jointly develop future cloud solutions with Microsoft Azure. It also says that Sony will use Microsoft Azure for its own game and content streaming services, although Sony's PlayStation Now is not mentioned specifically, including a push to build better tools for content creators. The two are also committing to work together on semiconductors and artificial intelligence. So, and then there's some quotes from both sides and saying how this partnership will be great. So, Xbox head Phil Spencer and Satya Nadella also followed up with tweets that stressed the entertainment and gaming aspect of the partnership. There's a tweet from Phil Spencer where he says he was excited about the opportunities ahead with Sony for us to pursue our mutual gaming ambitions and delight players around the world. So there's no, this doesn't go into what this really could mean for the future, but it sounds promising. Now, there later on there were some other articles. This one from Bloomberg. that says Sony's deal with Microsoft blindsided its own PlayStation team. When Sony Corp unveiled a cloud gaming pact with arch-rival Microsoft Corp, it surprised the industry. Perhaps no one was more shocked than the employees of Sony's PlayStation division, who have spent almost 2 decades fighting the U.S. software giant in the $38 billion video game console network. Of course, this also comes, as mentioned in the previous article, that PlayStation has its own cloud gaming offering, PlayStation Now, when they bought Gaikai. Maybe Gaikai has limitations. Maybe this, by working with Microsoft, they can expand PlayStation Now or something like that. I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not sure. Anyway, so this Bloomberg article notes that negotiations with Microsoft began last year and were handled directly by Sony's senior management in Tokyo, largely without the involvement of the PlayStation unit, according to people familiar with the matter. Staff in the gaming division were caught off guard by the news. Managers had to calm workers and assure them that plans for the company's next-generation console weren't affected. That difficult moment is part of a painful lesson that Sony and many other technology companies are facing as the world's leading cloud computing providers become more powerful. If you aren't spending billions of dollars a year at data centers, servers, and network gear, you can't keep up. So, it is really interesting. I think this revelation that PlayStation didn't know anything about it shows clearly that this isn't something that's going to impact the next year to 18 months of gaming, but maybe kind of by 2021 or so, maybe sooner, who knows, that this could really impact maybe some of PlayStation's streaming offerings, and I think is ultimately an exciting thing as we eventually head toward a not a console-less future, but a future where everything is available everywhere, hopefully. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Now, wanted to throw out some game news and announcements that were talked about recently. There's a game revealed on PS Blog, throwback 3D platformer Effie Shield surfs to PS4 on June 4th. So Effie Shield looks kind of like an old school 3D platforming action game. The guy reminds me a lot of like an Old Man Link, and the game is kind of cartoony and looks maybe a bit like now I have a brain cramp here, but there was another game. It was a mobile game, and it came to everything else later on, and is getting a sequel soon, and is very much a Zelda-like. So anyway, whatever, I just have in my mind like a Zelda-like thing here. The adventure takes place in the Red Plains of Oblena, a distant land recognized for its distinctive red vegetation. In this vast world, you'll be able to visit distinctive locations, including a windmill city, ancient temples, or even a city dedicated to grape juice production with huge barrel buildings. Okay. Although Effie is a 3D platformer, it's not 100% linear. Once you arrive in the open world, you can visit any of the settlements freely, but the gameplay becomes linear when you enter one. This caused more than one headache to design, but it's your adventure, and we wanted you to decide where your next stop would be. In this story, the world has been invaded by ghouls. Some of them are small and funny, but others, you won't want to come near them. And yes, all of them can attack you. So in your quest to recover your youth, you will be accompanied by a magic shield. And so it shows he uses his shield as a weapon, as a surfboard, and a whole bunch of other things. I think it looks really cute, and really kind of like a fun, easy summer game. And kind of coming off the back of Sekiro might be something that that I'm interested in. So anyway, so check it out, coming on June 4th. Also, they revealed Golem Gates. Golem Gates fuses deck building with action strategy on PS4 May 28th. A unique hybrid of gaming styles, Gollum Gates blends elements of action strategy and card-based battling, and it's coming to PS4 on May 28th. The game takes place on Earth, thousands of years in the future, where only remnants of ancient nations remain. The planet, ravaged by countless wars, is shrouded by a fog of nanites called ash. It's up to you, the Harbinger, to manipulate the ash and wield it against the forces that want to use its secret power to oppress the land and prevent you from fulfilling your destiny. So you have cards, and then you go and kind of do dungeon dives. I think is kind of what it seems like, and sounds interesting. I like card based games. There was one called Hand of Fates, which has actually had a sequel, where you built up your card and you played a game against the AI guy, and then when you had a battle, it transported you into the 3D world and you fought things and whatnot. So this looks like a different style of gameplay. Josh from Board with Video Games mentioned on our Discord that it seemed a bit more like, he said it looked kind of like League of Legends style gameplay, which wasn't too appealing, but who knows? It'll be interesting to see that one in action. And that's really about it. I did want to run down. IGN published a list of games that are going to be at E3 confirmed, and I wanted to run down the games that we know that we'll see during E3 that are coming to PS4. So it's kind of funny. These first few are obviously already released games, but Anthem, Apex Legends, and Battlefield 5 are all on here. Those will likely be talked about during the EA Play event. As much as I didn't care for Anthem, some people, I guess, are still playing it, and I hope, I like BioWare, and it'll be, hopefully they reveal something that will make people want to jump back into it. Apex Legends, of course, they're going to talk about Season 2. Battlefield 5, not sure what they'll talk about there. There's a game called Bee Simulator that will be talked about. Borderlands 3, Cyberpunk 2077, a game called Don't Even Think. Don't Even Think is a survival game with the core of a multilateral asymmetric confrontation. The absence of werewolf makes the game much more thrilled. I don't know who wrote that thing. Anyway, that sounds like a game from another country, which is cool. Whatever. Okay, Don't Even Think. Doom Eternal, Dying Light 2, Farmer's Dynasty, FIFA 20, The Fisherman - Fishing Planet, Madden NFL 20, Monster Hunter World Iceborne, Overpass. Overpass. That game sounds familiar. Overpass, a rhythm adventure from a new perspective. A game by One Mr. Bean Music. A rhythm game, apparently. Okay. It's like a first-person view, and you're going through an environment in first person, and you have to hit whatever button at the right time. I don't know. It's a rhythm game, so it could be cool. Overpass. Paranoia. Happiness is mandatory. The Rift Breaker. The Sims 4. The Sinking City. Star Wars Jedi: The Fallen Order. I'm really looking forward to learning more about that game. Since Respawn's making that, I'm really excited about that one. There's Stranger Things 3, the game. WRC 8, that's World Rallycross, that's coming out. Werewolf: The Apocalypse, Earthblood. Wasteland 3. Of course, Wasteland, I think it's from the original creators of the original Fallout games, and this will be the third one. And then another game, Trails of Cold Steel 3, is coming out. Or is going to be talked about at E3. That is a Devolver digital game, and it looks hopefully interesting. Anyway, that is it for this week's show. Hopefully we'll be back with Justin next week, and then as we get into June, we'll likely have some more guests and do some things a little bit differently into June, but didn't want to skip a week this week, and hopefully everyone out there is having a great time gaming. Let us know. Reach out to us on Twitter at PSXP Podcast. Tell us what you think about the Microsoft and Sony partnership and kind of what that means. Interact with us on the PSVG Discord. Visit us at psvg.blog, patreon.com/PSVG. Of course, check out our 500 other podcasts, from Board with Video Games to the Xbox Empire, Nintendo Shack, PSVG Prime, the OT, the Stadia Cast, all those things. Check us out. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.
And though we may pledge fanboy allegiances to different flags, deep down inside we all serve one master, one king. And his name is gaming. Forever may he reign!